What's up, WWE fans? You're watching Wrestling Edge Files, where every slam and surprise matters. Subscribe now and let's roll in. Nobody expected this ending for a 17-time world champion like John Cena. This was supposed to be another chapter in a legendary career defined by comebacks, resilience, and an almost supernatural refusal to quit. Instead, it became a sobering reminder that even the greatest icons eventually meet a moment that tests the limits of legacy itself. The atmosphere was heavy with anticipation, not just because of the names involved, but because fans sensed they were about to witness something meaningful, an ending that would linger long after the final bell. The weight of a generational clash. This match was never just about a win or a loss. It was about eras colliding inside the ring. John Cena entered as a living monument to WWE history, a competitor whose name alone represents championships, main events, and unforgettable moments. Across from him stood Gunther, the embodiment of modern dominance, a wrestler built on discipline, precision, and an unshakable belief in his own authority. The spotlight wasn't shared, it was split cleanly down the middle, illuminating two very different definitions of greatness. No flash, only control. From the opening bell, it was clear this would not be a fast-paced spectacle filled with acrobatics or crowd-pleasing shortcuts. This match unfolded like a slow-burning storm. Gunther dictated the tempo, keeping everything grounded and deliberate, while Cena relied on timing and experience to survive the early exchanges. Every movement felt purposeful, every pause intentional. This was wrestling stripped down to its core, control, balance, and the mental chess game happening between every lockup. Cena's refusal to fade. As the match progressed, Cena absorbed more punishment than most competitors could withstand. Yet he kept rising, fueled by instinct and years of championship-level conditioning. His face told the story of effort and resolve, not desperation. Each time Gunther pressed forward, Cena answered with grit rather than force, showing that survival itself can be a strategy. The crowd responded not with cheers of dominance, but with respect for a champion who refused to disappear quietly. Gunther's relentless precision. Gunther's approach never wavered. He applied pressure with a methodical calm, wearing Cena down piece by piece. There was no rush, no emotional outburst, just calculated control. Every hold, every strike, and every pause served a purpose. This was not about spectacle, it was about efficiency. Gunther wrestled as if he had all the time in the world, confident that patience would eventually bring victory. The match tightens. As fatigue set in, the pace slowed even further and the tension grew. Each exchange carried greater weight because both men knew the margin for error was shrinking. Cena's breathing grew heavier while Gunther's focus sharpened. The audience sensed the shift, the moment when endurance becomes more important than strength. This was the phase of the match where experience meets inevitability, and only one of those forces can prevail. The hold that changed everything. When Gunther locked in the sleeper hold, the arena fell into a hush. It wasn't sudden or dramatic, it was deliberate, almost clinical. Cena fought the pressure, adjusting his stance and searching for space, refusing to panic. The referee checked on him as the crowd leaned forward, fully aware of what was at stake. This wasn't just about escaping a hold, it was about preserving a legacy in real time. Pure will on display. The referee lifted Cena's arm and it dropped once, then again. Each time the tension escalated. When the arm rose for what felt like the final moment, Cena held it aloft, driven by nothing but willpower. It was a powerful image. A champion sustained not by strength, but by refusal. The crowd responded with a mix of awe and disbelief, witnessing a moment that defined Cena's career as much as any title win ever had. The final shift. Gunther didn't react with frustration or surprise. Instead, he adjusted. He applied pressure with renewed focus, tightening his control and eliminating any remaining chance of escape. There was no drama in his response, only certainty. This was the difference between survival and dominance. Cena fought, but the fight had changed. It was no longer about winning, it was about enduring. A submission that spoke volumes. When John Cena finally tapped out, it wasn't a moment of weakness, it was acknowledgement. The bell rang and the match ended not with chaos, but with clarity. Gunther stood victorious, having forced one of the greatest champions in WWE history to submit. There was no taunting, no excess celebration, just the quiet authority of a man who had proven his point inside the ring. What this victory meant. This was more than a win on a record sheet. It was a statement about the present and the future. Gunther didn't defeat a fading legend. He overcame a fully committed competitor who gave everything he had left. In doing so, Gunther solidified his place as a defining force of his era, proving that respect in wrestling is earned through performance, not reputation. The legacy of the moment for Cena. This match added a new layer to an already legendary career. It showed that greatness isn't only measured by victories, but by how one faces defeat. For Gunther, it marked a turning point, a confirmation that he belongs among the elite. Together, they created a moment that will be remembered not for shock value, but for its honesty and emotional weight. A match that redefined expectations. This encounter reminded fans why professional wrestling endures. It told a complete story inside the ring, one built on character, discipline, and consequence. There were no shortcuts, no distractions, only two competitors pushing each other to their limits. Long after the crowd left the arena, the impact of this match remained, etched into WWE history as a defining clash between legacy and dominance,